Hi Rapplers, thank you for joining us here at our studio. This is Kai Magsanok for Rappler's Life and Style and Entertainment sections. Today we have with us an Emmy Award-winning producer. He is proudly Batangueño and 100% Filipino. He is responsible for helping Filipino talents shine in the international scene through his current program, America's Next Top Model. Please help me welcome Mr. Michael Carandang. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Kai. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. How are you?
I'm good. Really happy here.
When did you arrive back to Manila this
I
year?
got here like March 1st, so about a month ago.
Okay.
And it hasn't stopped.
Okay. So we first met in 2007. I was one of the first few journalists who ever interviewed you.
Yes.
Back then, you were a producer for the Tyra Banks show. So it's been 5 years. How has life changed since then?
I think since then, that was before the show won an Emmy. So since then, the show won an Emmy. The show actually won 2 Emmys. And then after the show got canceled, then I went to America's Next Top Model.
Okay. Why did it have to go off the air? It was doing so well.
No, it wasn't the ratings. The show was doing really well, and I think it was just an expensive show to produce. Let's just put
Okay.
it that way. So
Okay.
you know, with anything, it's like television is also a business. So
Right.
the network needs to make money, the show needs to make money, and because of the quality of the show that we're producing every single week, I think that was one of the big reason that it went off air. But kudos to Tyra though. It was before it was announced on People magazine. I mean, she called all the producers, like I got a call at midnight explaining what happened. And so the next day, para bang we didn't just find out in the newspaper and all of the show, we don't have jobs anymore. But yeah, but it was, you know, I was happy that it did happen the way it did, because I wouldn't be able to transfer to the show that I really love and wanted to work for, which is America's Next Top Model.
Okay, speaking of America's Next Top Model, I know that you were the one who placed Michael Cinco, Oliver Tolentino, and even the brand Bench there with Georgina Wilson as stylist, right, in one of the episodes.
Well, I mean, I helped, but it's the bosses that makes a decision. I mean,
Okay.
in the end. But I think, you know, it was really, you know, my goal for every show that I've done in the U.S. Like my goal was really to, how do we get more Filipinos on television? How do I get to see myself more on TV?
Right.
Because the problem growing up, you know, I was born here in the Philippines. I grew up in Tanawan, Batangas, and then moving to the U.S. You know, in the Midwest, where there weren't a lot of Filipinos, there weren't a lot of Asians. What I saw on television is no one that represents me. So I imagine somebody who's 13, 14, 15, trying to find themselves and turning on the TV, and there's nobody there that looks like you. It affects every single one of us. So I felt that, you know what, this is where I wanted to go. I wanted to work on television. And luckily, with every show that I've done, you know, slowly but surely, I would push for Filipino stories. I would push for even like on the Tyra Banks show, like we would have models do runway shows. And, you know, back then it's like, okay, you have to have like 2 white models, a black model, and maybe a Hispanic. You know, but Asian is never, you never think of Asian as, because people don't think of Asian as part of the race, because they never think of us as somebody that lives in the U.S.
Right.
Either you're visiting or you're not from there, but there's not much history with that. So, you know, it started with the Tyra Banks show, and then with Top Model, my goal was to, you know, I know how much the show is loved in the Philippines, and I thought it would be such a great moment to see a Filipino designer, you know, represented on the show. And you know, when I saw Michael Cinco work during Philippine Fashion Week, I just thought like, wow, this guy, you know, he's the guy that's going to open the door for other Filipino designers, and which he did. If it wasn't for Michael Cinco, then there wouldn't be the other designers that came after him.
So how did these Filipino designers work with the judges? Michael Cinco eventually became a judge, right? He did more
No,
than
he
one
didn't become a
episode.
judge. He became the final runway designer, which is
Okay.
one of the it's probably the biggest
Finale.
the biggest thing that the show can offer, because it's a modeling show. It's not like Project Runway where it's about fashion designers. I mean, this show is about modeling, but the biggest thing that we could offer for designers is to be the final runway designer. I mean, Michael Cinco is now aligned with Versace, with Roberto Cavalli, with Vivienne Westwood. All all these designers that's been the final runway designer on the show. You have Michael Cinco there, who's proudly Filipino. So because of what he did for the first time he was on the show. I mean, the great thing about Top Model is they recognize Filipino talent and they appreciate Filipino talent. You know, after having Michael Cinco on the show for the first time, I mean, they were the ones like, oh, when can we have him back? So just
Okay.
imagine the kind of, so So to me, like I can't take credit for his talent. Like I was just there as part of the people that helped getting these designers. But it's really our designers who's making a name for themselves. I mean, if it wasn't for Cinco's talent, then he wouldn't be asked back and he wouldn't be recognized. But that's what happened to him. Same thing with Oliver. It's because of who they are as designers and how talented they are. That's why they're being recognized.
Okay. So how does Tyra feel about Philippine fashion? I saw a photo of her recently in Facebook wearing a Jim Libiran gown.
No, it's Francis Libiran.
Francis Libiran,
yes,
sorry.
But it's crazy because I was here in December, just visiting because I haven't spent Christmas here for a long time. And Francis has been a good friend of mine for years. And I remember he just asked me, oh, can you bring these gowns to Tyra? Of course, because he's been talking to Tyra's stylist. So I brought it, and I remember I get Google alerts of Tyra Banks in the show, and I got this Google alert saying that, Tyra was named one of the best dressed. She got in the best dressed list in one of these events. So click was a link. It doesn't have Francis's name, but I could tell it's like Francis's aesthetic. Like you could tell that it was his design. And then when she wore, because you don't know if she's gonna wear it or not. You could have tons of clothes. But whatever she wants to wear is what she's gonna wear. And for her to end up wearing Francis Libran, which to us kilalang kilala, but in the U.S. is like, who's he? For her to walk down the red carpet, be photographed with that dress, and people, that's the first thing they ask you in the Monday when you walk down the red carpet, like, who are you wearing? Francis Libiran.
Okay.
It's such a great moment, because he's the first He's the first Philippine-based designer that Tyra wore on a red carpet.
Right. Okay. I know you're here in the Philippines every year. You usually stay for a month to be with your family. But this time you're here until October because you have projects you're working on. Can you tell us about them?
I've been fortunate that I'm able to come here and work because that's always been parang it's a dream. I've worked 10 years in the U.S. and I've always wanted to kind of parang balik ta rin naman, like be able to come here. The first thing is I produced a travel reality show with Gito and G. It's called the Basco Balikbayan Project. For those who are not familiar with the Basco family, it's Dante Basco. He's one of the biggest stars probably in the family. He was on Hook. He's worked with Steven Spielberg. He's worked with some of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and he has 4 other siblings who's never been to the Philippines. So they came to the Philippines with the help of DOT and Air Philippines and Picasso Hotel. We traveled all over the Philippines. We went to Puerto Princesa, Davao, Boracay, Naga, and they did all these great things to really showcase the world. But the main goal for the show is to really get second Filipino generation families to say, you know what? Even though you don't speak the language, even though you feel like you don't have a connection with the Philippines aside from your family and your relatives and the adobo that you eat on every night, come and make the effort. Come visit the Philippines. Find out about your roots, because you never know what you're gonna come out of that experience as a better person, as a person as a better appreciation of your history and where your parents have been through.
So what's the status of this project now?
Right now we're in post-production. So it's just the post-production was the one that takes a long time to do. The second projects I did the first season of RSVP in the US, and we're doing the second season here in the Philippines. It's with Dr. Tess Mauricio. And we're just, we're featuring health, wellness, and beauty here in the Philippines, and then airing at GMA Pinoy TV. And then the last one is with Bench. It's their 25 years anniversary, and I thought it'd be really nice to do a documentary about coming up, how they spent their 25 years and how the biggest show that they're gonna produce, which is the underwear show, how it happens, like behind the scenes, what it takes and what it means to be part of the show for the celebrities and the non-celebrities.
Okay. And even the designers that they tap for the show,
yeah, of course.
Right?
They got like the biggest
years.
designers to tap on the show, so masaya.
Okay. So you did your first of many blogs for Rappler last weekend.
First of many.
Yeah. You blogged about Jessica Sanchez and her American Idol journey. We're 2 nights shy of the next performance night, and this week 2 will be eliminated. If Jessica or her family were to watch this interview, what advice can you give them?
I mean, I don't know if there's any advice I could give them, because it's if anything else, I think Jessica should just keep doing what she's been doing. It's like Jessica's not the issue. I think we present like, oh, what advice can I give Jessica? She's not the issue here. Jessica is super talented. She's probably one of the best singers American Idol has ever had, and the girl has class. I mean, she walks down the stage like she's J-Lo or she's, you know, she's Beyonce. So there's nothing that I can tell her that she hasn't been doing. I think what we need to tell is for the people, you know, it's a voting competition. This is a popularity contest. It is not, you know, it's, as much as we frame it as a talent show, it is a talent show, but their hopes is because this girl is so talented, people will vote. But at this point of the competition, people are voting who they want to support, not necessarily who's the most talented. So remember that. It matters. It boils down to how many votes she gets. So the advice is not for Jessica or for the family. It's for the Filipino people and for the American Idol viewers. That if you love Jessica, vote for Jessica. Keep supporting Jessica. Spread the word. You know, because regardless. But let's not forget though, if she doesn't win the American Idol, it doesn't mean it's the end of her career. Let's not forget Jennifer Hudson became an Oscar winner. So if you have the talent, you have the talent. But I think what we are, you know, it's everybody's dream to have a Filipino American or Filipino Mexican American to win American Idol, and she's our best shot for now. You know, we've had 3 in the past that I think almost made it, and then now we have Jessica. So hopefully she goes all the way. She is but in the end, she's our American Idol. So okay, na yan.
Yes, no matter what happens.
No matter what
she's
happens.
already a winner. Okay, Mike, I have to ask this. This is a personal, skeptical question.
Yeah.
You have experience from the production side with reality shows. Do the votes really count? Do the votes really determine the winner, or is it just part of, I mean, for the show to make profit? Pardon my words, but
yeah, no, every vote counts. I think
Okay.
you know it's a television show. It's like a sweepstakes. You know, it's like if you have any kind of contest. I mean, the one thing that American Idol is probably holding on to is the credibility. That you know that we don't pick who wins. You the people win. That's why people watch every week. That's why people feel the need to vote, is because they have a voice, and I'm able to tell you who I think is the next American Idol. Once you take that away, once you see at the end of the show, like, oh, the winner is picked based on producer's discretion, meaning that, you know, this might be the 90% of the votes, but we still pick who wins.
Yeah.
Then it loses its credibility. The people are just like, well, you're just telling us who you should think should win. But I think, you know, shows like this, it's even more important to keep it like every vote counts, and everybody that feel like they believe in someone should vote, because that's how they're gonna pick who the winner is. Sometimes the winner is not necessarily the crowd favorite, or not like necessarily the person that they feel like is the most talented. It's the one that actually got the most votes.
Okay. So thank you for making that clear.
But you know, I don't work for Idol, so I don't know. But I assume it works everywhere else in television, that you know, you have to be fair and you have to follow certain guidelines to make sure that, you know, people, because the last thing they want is bad press, saying like, oh, it was rigged, oh, it was not tallied right. So, and you know, that's the one thing that they would want to protect, is the credibility of American Idol.
Okay. Well, Mike, thank you for coming over to our studio and spending some time with us.
Thank you so much, Kai. Thank you, Rappler.
Yeah, thank you for supporting Rappler.
Of course.
For being one of us.
Salamat.
Thank you.
We go way back.
Yeah, okay. So this ends our interview with Michael Carandang, producer, Pinoy Pride leader, and Rappler. Thank you for joining us. This has been Kai Magsano. She
really follows what she wants to do. She wants to work in production.